welcome to another Me First TV. My name is Patricia Romero-Wolfson, and I'm a coach and energy practitioner who helps people simplify transformation through the Me First method, which I developed over 12 years ago, and I have used this with clients and personally to overcome many challenges, and I'm very happy to be here to be able to share it with you too, because hopefully it will help. So today, I want to talk about the insidious nature of perfectionism. I grew up hearing that word used as a compliment. So if someone was a perfectionist, they were highly regarded, usually well kempt, poised, and respected as someone you could trust to get the job done. And as such, it was something I always aspired to. I wanted so desperately to be a perfectionist. Realizing, or I should say not realizing, that the simple fact that I was focused on how much I felt short of being perfect actually made me a perfectionist. So yay for me? I don't know. I realized that I had a warped sense of what it took to pursue your passions. I used to think that if you needed practice, it's because you sucked. Actually, I didn't think that about other people. I thought that about myself. I used to think that if I needed practice, it's because I sucked and I wasn't gifted or talented. I was an imposter. And this is why I felt so overly critical of myself and why I couldn't finish some things that I really thought were important, but couldn't bring myself to doing it, and why I started hiding my gifts and talents. You know, if I can't be perfect, what's the point? Said by perfectionists everywhere. But here we are. And I'm wondering, or maybe you're wondering, if perfectionism has affected your life, much like it affected mine without even realizing it. So I want you to consider these statements and take note if any of them resonate, okay? So follow me here. Let's start with here. You often find yourself overwhelmed or in analysis paralysis when you're working on something important. Think about that for a moment. And I'm going to keep going, okay? Here we go. You procrastinate or have trouble making decisions for fear of making the wrong choice. Okay? You are highly critical of mistakes, especially in your work or anything else you put your time or effort into. Okay, just, if you're watching and you want to sort of like jot down me, or yeah, that applies to me, please feel free, or just say hi, let me know that you're here. Let's keep going. Let's see here. Oh my goodness, where did I put it? Captions, there we go. Okay, next. You do not acknowledge the true value of your achievements. You dismiss it as luck or give it credit to somebody else or to something else, okay? Think about it. Last one, you are an all or nothing person. And if it's not done right, you don't want to do it at all. You don't want your name attached to it. You want nothing to do with it. I mean, I understand not wanting your name attached to things that aren't up to par for your standards, but, there is that level of stopping yourself from doing anything because you don't think that you can do it well enough. And that's where we need to stop and think, okay? All right. So if you found yourself in any of these statements, you too might be a perfectionist, and today's show is for you. But first, let's get the Me First ritual to get us grounded and ready for the day, all right? And while we're getting ready, please go ahead and subscribe to Me First TV. Go to YouTube at Me First TV, and there you will find hours and hours of content about the Me First method, the GPS, and the ABCs, along with more tips and strategies to navigate your everyday challenges while still looking after yourself and your family. And if you have not yet downloaded the free Me First TV guide with simple transformation practices, I encourage you to go ahead and do that now. It includes things such as how to calibrate your energy, the Me First Moments ritual, which we're going to do together, quick GPS activity, your daily ABCs, and a simple guide to managing stress, and we could all use a little help with that. So you go right ahead into the description and you just download that free guide, and you'll have it at home. All right, so let us begin. I always like to start with, I know today I'm here late. Normally not late, but Life. I couldn't do it earlier. So, if you guys are around, and maybe this is the time that I'm going to catch some of you who don't normally get to watch the show, because I usually do it in the morning when I can, and certainly during the day more often. But, life throws you some curveballs and you just got to go with the flow. So here I am at 8:20. All right. Okay, so we've lit our candle. I have lit my Harry Sven candle. This is just one of the color forms of Scott's art, because I like to infuse him into as many things as I can in my life. And we're going to use a little essential oils. Now, I like to use essential oils and crystals and all sort of that stuff, but you don't need to use any of it. I just like to sort of I like the smell through my hair. Also, sometimes it smooths it out. And just smell, so that what we want to do is we want to associate that smell with a calming energy, right? So that at some point you can just use that essential oil and it brings you right back to this moment of grounding, okay? And this is what we're going to do together. We're going to do the usual routine if you've been here before, and if you haven't, this is our usual routine. So what we do together is we're going to take 3 deep breaths, then we're going to stretch a little, then we're going to shake it out, then we say a little prayer and call in for our spiritual support team, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about procrastination and creating habits and normalizing failure. Okay, so stick around. Let us begin with our breath, okay? So these 3 deep breaths, you're going to breathe in through your nose like this, and you're going to take the deepest breath that you can, and you are going to hold for 5 seconds. And after, you are going to release like this, like you are blowing out the candle that you just lit. So make sure you put it to the side if you lit one too. You're just going to blow out like this, and you are going to have that exhale go for 10 seconds. So we breathe in for 5, we hold for 5, and then we release for 10. And this process of breathing, where the exhale is longer than the inhale, will allow your body to relax. It sends a signal to your parasympathetic system that things are a-okay, and it calms us down, lets us know that we are safe. So that's what we're going to do together, and just 3 quick breaths, because this is a method that I like to introduce as sort of like the grounding thing. You can do this in like 3 minutes, what we're going to do together. Together, it usually takes me about, 5 minutes or so for us. But on your own, you can just set yourself really quick, and you set it as a habit, and you practice it every day. And before you know it, as soon as you start taking these steps, your body is just going to, because it's going to expect that grounding, that relaxation. And that's what we want. We want to practice that feeling. We want our body to become familiar with that feeling. We are feeling in and practicing and calibrating to the vibration of groundedness, centeredness, and alignment. Okay? So here we go. 3 deep breaths starting now. And hold. And release. And now breathe in again. And hold. And release. And one more time, last one, make it count. We want to take a really, really deep breath, because we want to increase our capacity to take in that life-giving breath, hold it, receive it, maintain it, and then release any and all things that don't serve us through our exhale. Okay, last one, here we go. Hold and release. Okay, and now we're going to stretch and just do stretching Anywhere you feel sort of like that stuckness, we want to release that stuck, stagnant, or tight energy, any tension, any pain. I want you to pay particular attention and just breathe into the areas where you feel pain. And what we're doing is we're just encouraging our body to release that stuck energy, that stagnant energy. We just want it to dissipate and sort of like just breaking up that solid parts, those solid energy blocks. And we just want to release them. We want to open them. We want to break them up, make them smaller, and then just release them into the world, allow Mother Nature to transmute them into whatever is needed, and then we just shake it out, shake it out, shake it out, and just get rid of that energy that doesn't serve us. Okay, very nice. All right, so now we're going to say our prayer, and we're just going to call on our spiritual support team to give us a little nudge in the right direction so we can set our intentions for the day. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about procrastination and finding your power. Okay, so here we go. You can just listen, follow along if you have the guide. And if not, you can just say your own prayer or simply sit in silence and set your own intention and asking for your spiritual support team, whoever that is for you, to come and support you for your intentions. All right, here we go. Divine Mother, Infinite Father, Creator, Ascended Masters, Archangels, Spirit Guides, Ancestors, my love, and all beings of 100% pure white light. Allow me to be a clear and open channel of your light and love without hesitation or ego. May the highest vibration of infinite consciousness connect with my higher self and release any and all things that no longer serve me. I ask that Saint Germain and his infinitely powerful violet flame burn away the things that no longer serve myself or humanity and hold us back from our divine existence. Help us to embody our intentions for the day and help us raise the collective vibration for the highest and greatest good of all. Thank you, thank you, thank you for sending us the signs and messages and synchronicities that anyone listening needs to hear so that they may walk in alignment with the highest good for the highest and greatest good of all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So be it, and so it is. Okay, now moving along. We're talking about perfectionism. And if you're the type of person who said, I'm not a perfectionist, I just like things done properly, I suspect this episode is for you. So now that you know you're in the right place, for those of you who are like, oh yeah, that might be me, and you've hopefully acknowledged how being a perfectionist has impacted your life from the statements that I read earlier to you, let's figure out what to do to get yourself out of this life-sucking mess, okay? So in order to get yourself out of this pattern of self-deprecation, we need to shift your mindset a little bit. All right. And one of the things for me that was the idea that I mentioned, like, if I need practice, it's because I suck. And I can't tell you exactly why this is something that is so true for me, but it is. That is exactly why my entire focus in life has shifted into highlighting the impact of practice, because that could not be more untrue. Obviously, ask any professional athlete, ask any professional musician, ask any professional anything. You have to practice and practice and practice and make that your passion and purpose. And that is the thing that you always want to, I mean, they even say it, you want to perfect it. But I think that's where the block lies in thinking of, well, I've practiced so much and it's still not perfect, so I must just be terrible. And that's what I want to help you with. Things like that, unhelpful beliefs just like that, right? So me first is all about practicing who you want to be. It's about practicing how you want to show up. It's about practicing how you get the most out of your life, right? And unlike what we've always heard, which is practice makes perfect, it doesn't, right? Here's what I want to share with you. Practice doesn't make perfect. It makes progress. Perfection is subjective, and that is why it's impossible to attain. Perfect. Now hear me out on this. Perfect is actually the feeling when inspiration and creativity align and manifest an idea into reality in a way that is way better than you could have imagined. So Think about that for a second, right? Because we get inspired to do things and then we're like, oh my God, that sounds so good. I want to do that. And then you start to take the steps and you start to do that thing. And then that's the feeling like, oh my God, this is so perfect, right? That feeling of connecting, that feeling of being in flow, that feeling of feeling supported by the universe, that feeling like you are on the right track. That to me is perfect. That is what we're going for here, is that feeling, okay? And so what I want to encourage you to do today is begin creating the habit of practicing your solution, okay? So what do I mean by that, practicing your solution? Well, whenever it is that you want to achieve something, inevitably you're going to come up against some roadblocks, and they can come in the form of distractions or limiting beliefs or blocks or whatever you want to call them, okay? Your job is to practice your solution, okay? So I'll give you an example. Hi, Linda. Oh, I'm so glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, I know, right? It's like, hi, I'm a perfectionist. Didn't even realize it. Okay, so here's an example, all right? You started a business from home, right? It's not making money fast enough for you to leave your full-time job, but you really, really want to leave your full-time job. You may have a few options depending on your life circumstances. Number one, you just keep going, right? You just keep doing what you're doing, right? Working your full-time job and then working your passion on the side until you make enough money to be able to justify leaving your job for you, whatever that measure is for you, okay? Number two, you can reduce your hours at work so you can dedicate more time to your business or your passion to increase your return so that you can start to sort of get momentum and then at some point still leave your job because that's the goal, right? Number three option is you take a risk. You quit your job and you go full time on this passion, your new career, right? This mission you're on. All right, now let's say you do number three, right? You took a risk, you quit your job, awesome, okay? Now 3 years have passed and you're running out of money and you're running out of options, right? What do? Maybe you decide to go back to work, right? That number two option in the list was reducing your hours at work. So maybe you go back to work part-time. Maybe you just find something to make money on the side so that you can release the pressure that you are feeling. Okay? Maybe you do something else, right? Maybe you're just like, that's okay. I'm going to keep going, right? And here's the thing. None of them are wrong. None of them. None of them, even if you go back to work or you have to table your passion for a while, it is still not a fail because you are practicing your solutions, okay? You are practicing doing what it is that you need to do in order to do what you want, right? And sometimes that's setting things aside because you've had children and you can't do your passion and raise your children, and both are very important. You just can't do them at the same time, right? So you're not a failure because you put your career to the side to raise your children. You're just practicing one of the solutions because you could have done both. You could have done just one, and you chose to do whatever you chose to do. And that is your choice. And that is you practicing that particular solution that you picked, okay? Now, once you no longer want to practice a solution, right? Or if we're going to use like old language, right? If you're tired of failure, which I don't agree with calling it failure, but let's just say you're tired of failure, or you no longer want to practice a solution. You're like, I don't like any of this, okay? When it comes to a particular goal or issue, you may want to consider quitting or cutting ties or ending your participation in the solution, right? And in the healing circle, this part is often called surrender. And it is when you've done all you can do and you leave it up to the universe to present you with a solution because you're all out of ideas and you're like, I'm done, right? Sorry. And here is why we want to embrace failure. Very often, in trying so hard and consistently being in that mode of fixing ourselves, we miss the magic of letting it grow, right? Like when you plant a seed, you water it, you let the sun go, and then you walk away. You don't dig it up. You don't check and see if it's growing, right? And that's just like sometimes our ideas and our passions. We forget to be in that nurturing place where sometimes we don't see results. And we get really tired of not seeing results. We get really tired of not seeing that seed blossom, okay? And once again, I'm going to say, even if you quit, even if you give up, even if you choose to no longer pursue this dream, it is simply you practicing that as a potential solution. Because as long as you are here on earth, you can always make a different choice and practice a different solution. If suddenly you find yourself like, this isn't working for me anymore. I thought this was the way to go, but this was not the way to go. You didn't fail. You're not a loser. You don't, whatever, all the insults, you need to put those aside and understand, wow, this solution really didn't work the way I had hoped. I guess it's time to do something else, or it's time to quit. Okay. And that's what I want to go back to here. Because when you keep at a problem and don't allow it to just evolve, or you don't allow that seed to just grow at its own natural pace, your frustration may actually prevent the solution from showing up, right? If you're digging up the seed, it's not going to grow. You're going to mess with the growth process, right? Now, once again, I don't believe that you can, whatever is meant for you will come to you. But it's just going to take a whole lot longer if you keep interfering with the process. So the soul work for today, okay, which you can look at as the action you've been avoiding. If you've been watching the show, I talk about the daily ABCs, which is A, do an action you've been avoiding, B, nourish your body, and C, do something creative, okay? So today, the soul work I'm giving you, it's not homework, it's soul work, which will count as the action you've been avoiding is this. Whatever you're struggling with, I want you to write down at least 3 potential solutions, okay? Or actions that you can take, okay? Not someone else needs to do this. That's not a solution. You don't have control over that solution. It has to be something that you can do, a solution that you can be a part of, or an action that you can take that may improve or completely solve your issue. Okay. And then I want you to choose one of them, just one, and try that, right? Commit to doing that solution, commit to taking that action today, tomorrow, this week, whatever. Just commit to that. Okay. And this is how you will begin to practice your solution. And listen, it doesn't matter which one you choose, because that's the practice. It's not, oh my goodness, I have to pick the right one. It's, all right, let's try something, right? It's like what they say, you throw enough spaghetti on the wall, eventually something sticks, right? That's the same idea. And we have to stop being so precious about our choices and so precious about our decisions. Now, obviously, it depends on your life circumstances. And sometimes you need to be super precious because the type of pressure or obligations that you're dealing with or responsibilities are really, really big. But even so, there are actions or solutions that exist even in the direst of circumstances. And you have to figure out what those things are for you, okay? And if it doesn't work, if this one solution that you've chosen, this action doesn't work, doesn't help you progress in any way, well, then you have 2 more potentials that you've set up, right? That's why you pick 3. You do one, and then you have 2 more that you can do when this one doesn't work for you. Or when you're like, oh, wait, maybe I can do this and this, where you can multiply your actions and keep things going in the direction that works for your total alignment. Okay. And now, so you have the A, right? The A from your ABCs, right? Which is the action that will shift your perfectionism mentality to progress mentality. All right. So taking into consideration, I guess we're going to use the idea of helping ourselves in managing perfectionism. Okay. So that being the goal, the action that you've been avoiding is this one, choosing 3 solutions and then just starting and taking action on one of them. And then, okay, because what this is doing is we want to shift your mentality, right? From perfectionism to progress, right? From perfectionism mentality to progress mentality, which is like fixed mentality to growth mentality. Right? So now I want you to think about how you can apply the concept of progress mentality, right? Progress mentality or growth mentality, and practice doing something nourishing for your body that perfectionism has prevented you from doing in the past, right? Or up until now. If there's something that you have not allowed yourself to do with your body or for your body because of perfectionism, I want you to do that. Take that action. I want you to nourish your body in that way. Take care of your body in that way. And third, practice is something creative that you've stopped yourself from doing because of your perfectionism. Okay? So those are all the actions. It feels like a lot of actions, but it really isn't. Okay? You're doing 3 things that are actions you can take. Okay? And then your daily ABCs. And so I just want you to think about how you can go from that perfectionism mentality into that progress mentality using the ABCs for today's exercise, okay? And if you have any questions, reach out to me. If that didn't make sense, you need me to explain it, reach out to me. If you want a session with me and we can do this together because none of that made sense to you when I spoke about it, but something about it resonated with you, then you reach out to me too. And we will set up an appointment and I will absolutely help you, okay? And if you want more information about the ABCs or anything else, you go to my YouTube channel and just subscribe to @MeFirstTV. Do the little note, ding that bell for notifications, and then you'll know when I'm here talking about more stuff. All right. So that is what I'm going to talk about for today. And now I'm going to pull a card so that we can wrap up our evening. And I'm going to pull a card about perfectionism. So what does Spirit potentially want to share with us? What message does Spirit want to give us about perfectionism? That's what I'm going for here. Okay. And don't forget that if you know anyone who might benefit from this content, please share. Because my goal is to really arm people with this knowledge, empower people to really lean into their choices and their authenticity. If you know somebody who's like kind of going through it right now and they just don't know where to start, please send them my way, send them my channel, send them a link, connect us, because I would love to help. All right, here we go. What do you want to tell us about perfectionism? I don't know. I'm just going to keep shuffling until the time is right. Can't tell. Oh my God. When I bang it, it makes a weird noise. I don't know how it sounds for you, but it zings my ear through the headphone. Oh, jeez. I'm laughing because my kids are upstairs cooking dinner right now. And I'm proud of myself for letting that happen. Okay, here we go. What's the card? Here we go. Number 50, compass. Oh my God, Linda, are you watching this? This is like one of Linda's favorite cards. Look at this, the compass, okay? So what do we need to know about perfectionism, right? Let's read, because it actually came upside down, right? But, what it tells me, what it's telling me is that, sorry, I'm feeling into it. And what I'm feeling is like the perfectionism actually takes you off the road of your true authentic self, because you are not allowing yourself to just be, because you are trying to, control or manage the beingness, right? Because you want it to be perfect, but life isn't perfect. It never is perfect. And we've already discussed that, so we don't need to go into that anymore. But let me see what the card actually says here and what Colette Baron Reed says as her description of compass. And hopefully it will give you some information that you need and resonate with you in an important way. Okay, so compass. As long as you orient your compass to true north, the direction of your higher power, you will never be lost. You're entering uncharted... Oh, reversed. Okay, so I'm going to read the reversed, okay? What is your higher power right now? Whatever you constantly focus on long enough becomes your higher power. You worry about financial security. Materialism is your idol. If you obsess over a relationship, that is your God. If you're concerned about your weight or your looks or your status, you've lost your personal power and your way. Nothing but spirit can be your guiding force. You'll never truly find what you seek if these worries and distractions are your constant focus. Surrender. And shift your compass. Be still and watch as the needle points to true north. Align yourself, and you'll easily find your way back to where you're meant to be. I mean, I love this because the entire, what we've been talking about in terms of perfectionism and how you can practice stepping into that higher version of yourself. This card really reflects that if your focus is just feeling into what you want and showing up how you want to show up in the world and making aligned choices and taking actions that resonate with that version of you that is achieving the things that you want, that is becoming the person you want to be, well, then you'll be unstoppable. All right, so that's it for today. I will be back with another episode. Please don't forget to subscribe so that you know when, but I'm sure I'll be back tomorrow. I hope you guys all have a great night. I love you all.